Welcome to this webinar on social media. This is one of 4 videos we have for you on digital communication. So, relating to social media, this is one of the more impactful ways to use digital communication to reach your potential customers and current customers and friends with the messages that you'd like for them to hear. One thing that's important to emphasize is to remember the whole idea of the term social media, that the first part of the term is social, that social media implies that there is interaction and two-way conversation taking place and not just shouting out promotions and things 100% related to the business end of your practice or your company. So the idea of being social, of listening, of responding, of asking questions, of sometimes being funny, saying interesting things is really important. And then media just implies the different platforms, the different types of ways that we can share the messages. So let's talk about a few of the social media platforms that are really important for your business to be involved with. First of all, it's important to remember who uses social media in this day and age. That of all the people who have access to the internet, 76% of those people are engaged in social media. It also is important to know that the demographics as far as age are in the sweet spot, if you will, for most businesses, meaning that 74% of people 30 to 65 years old are using social media. So that's 3/4 of those in the demographic of 30 to 65 are on social media. It's also important to note that people with annual household incomes of $50,000 or more, that's 74% of those folks are active social media users, and even higher, 78% of those with an income of $75,000 or more are also involved in social media. So this is an area that you want to be engaged in and you want to have a voice in, since the demographics are so favorable for your potential clients. So let's talk specifically about some of the platforms. We all know about Facebook, and it's almost mind-boggling to understand the influence of Facebook and the importance of being engaged on Facebook for your practice or your business. Meaning, 1.4 billion as of now, and probably very soon, depending when you're watching this, it'll be creeping up to 1.5 and moving higher. But 1.4 billion people in the world use Facebook. There's only a little over 300 million in the United States, and to think that 1.4 billion around the world are using Facebook is astounding. And so again, 73% of all internet users around the world are members of Facebook. Twitter is a much smaller but still really important platform to be engaged in for your business. 300 million users sounds very small compared to what we just talked about with Facebook, but when you think that 300 million is basically the population of the United States, that is still a lot of people, and you don't want to miss engagement on that platform. And so 25% of all internet users are on Twitter. Instagram, which is very, very popular, in particular with the young adults and older teenagers and that group, but also all age groups, also has 300 million users. It's a image-based platform, so it's really a wonderful way to share beautiful images related to your business, or even, like I was mentioning before, just fun, interesting shots from your locale or anything related to that. And again, 25% of internet users are on Instagram. YouTube, which is of course video-based, has over 1 billion users. And there are all sorts of interesting statistics about search engine results. You know, of course, Google owns YouTube, and how YouTube can be is a vital way to build your online equity for people to know your messaging and about your business. LinkedIn is a business-to-business platform, and I was just reading that it is the fastest growing of the social media platforms, 350 million users, which is 30% of internet users. And so your messaging changes a little bit when you're talking business to business, but it's a very vibrant place for people to share information and to engage with people in your community and around the world. Pinterest has 75 million users, which again is smaller, significantly smaller than the others that we've discussed, and yet if you look at the demographic, 92% of the users of Pinterest are women. This is also a very visual-based platform, and in particular for medical aesthetic practices, you know, with the demographic of female, Pinterest is a really valuable tool to use with before and afters and all sorts of images that might apply. And then finally, Google Plus has 300 million users, and while it's not the most active of social media platforms, you don't hear a lot of people talking about their interaction on Google Plus and what's happening on that platform like you do with Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or YouTube and that sort of thing. It is 30% of internet users, but most importantly, it is a product owned by Google, and there seems to be great value in assisting with search engine optimization, the fact that you are actively engaged on Google+. So it is something to pay attention to and to keep active in. So quickly, 4 vital tips for your practice related to social media. One is to organize your social media efforts so that they are strategically thought through, so that someone is committed to timely, well thought out, well done posts on the different platforms to reach different audiences. And it's not just left to chance or left to someone to do when they think about it, or to you know, to someone who has a job doing a million other things and never is able to make social media a priority, because it should be. Number 2 would be content discovery, and what that means is looking at what topics are being discussed in your industry, what competitors are talking about, what experts in the field are talking about, and being engaged in those conversations. And then with that is scheduling, and that means that you are planning when your social media should be sent out so that you're reaching your audiences, that you have done a little homework about when people are checking their Facebook page, reading Twitter. You're not sending things out at 2 o'clock in the morning when everyone's sleeping, or you're not sending things out at 10 o'clock in the morning when your target audience may be at work, but you're hitting before work or lunchtime or late afternoon or evening or whatever works best for your particular platform with that. 3 is to build a community of online advocates, to have people talking about your practice, posting favorable reviews, encouraging your current client base to do that. It has great effect to have first-person testimony about the quality of your work. And so online advocates are another vital tip for social media. And then lastly is to manage your brand through social media, to allow people to see how your practice is represented online and on social media, how your messaging shows your professionalism, that you're fun, that you do extremely quality work, that and that people can see your brand through your social media. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you'll check out the other 3 related to digital communication.